I agree with the gentleman from Massachusetts um, that this legislation would not only um, provide for those who don't have the experience, don't have the analysis done by reducing the amount from 700 million to 250 million, um, thus creating risk for our investors. And so I'm going to offer this amendment to make a wrong-headed bill incrementally better, especially, let's see, specifically, my amendment would prohibit the Securities and Exchange Commission from granting waivers to a company that becomes ineligible to claim well-known seasoned issuer status because it or its subsidiary has been convicted of a felony, a misdemeanor, or is determined to have violated the anti-fraud provisions of the federal securities law in any judicial or administrative decree or order within the last 3 years. To put it simply, this amendment would prevent the SEC from granting WIC-C waivers to institutions involved in criminal cases brought by the Department of Justice. It would also apply to settlements and cease and desist orders over fraudulent conduct negotiated with regulators or the DOJ. I'm offering this amendment because the American public has grown increasingly frustrated with the lack of accountability in our financial system, both with regard to conduct contributing to the financial crisis and to scandals that have occurred since then. Since 2008, we have seen instances of LIBOR manipulation, robo-signing of foreclosure documents, and failures in money laundering controls that facilitated the flow of profits to narcotic traffickers and countries sanctioned by the U.S. government. While law enforcement has tallied up record monetary settlements in response to this conduct, I remain concerned that our regulators are not using the full set of tools available to them to deter future bad behavior. In particular, the SEC has liberally waived automatic disqualification provisions in our securities laws, enshrining a new policy that might make some firms, in the words of one SEC commissioner, simply too big to bar. Since the beginning of 2006, the Commission has issued 73 WIC-C waivers to firms that would otherwise be barred from such status. Since 2010, the Commission has granted at least 30 WIC-C waivers, 29 of which went to large financial institutions and broker-dealers. In many cases, these issuers are receiving their second, third, and even fourth WIC-C waiver in less than 4 years. Most concerning, these waivers are increasingly being offered even in the face of very serious misconduct. In 2012, the SEC offered its first waiver in the 10-year history of the WIC-C status for criminal conduct related to 6 years of LIBOR manipulation at one firm. In April of this year, the SEC again voted to grant such a waiver to another firm guilty of LIBOR manipulation. The SEC should not reflectively throw away its enforcement tools, particularly in cases involving criminal or fraudulent conduct of large financial institutions. Doing so undermines firms' incentives to obey the law. To be clear, the type of conduct my amendment would cover includes very serious offenses such as making a false report, bribery, perjury, larceny, theft, robbery, extortion, forgery, counterfeiting, fraudulent concealment, embezzlement, misappropriation of funds, and making false statements to the government. The WIC-C status is a special benefit that allows companies to bring securities to market without first receiving the scrutiny of SEC staff. This status should be reserved to issuers that have shown a commitment to maintaining market integrity via compliance with the law. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle have claimed to share my concerns about market integrity with their recent inquiry into the settlement policies of the Department of Justice. If they are serious about doing so, they will support this amendment, which I believe will make our regulators more accountable to Congress and to the public. Mr. Chairman and members, I just don't see how um, the members on the opposite side of the aisle could resist this amendment. Um, I just don't think that you would want to create this kind of risk and be responsible for it and take responsibility for it. I thank you, and I yield back the balance of my time. I would hope you would support this amendment.
Gentlelady yields back. Who